Welcome friends! Today we are going to start our playthrough on Enigmatica 2 Expert Extended. Let me create the world first of all. So let's go here, create new world. This will be a normal overworld. On the next screen, let's change our world name. Let's adjust some settings. On the settings screen, the only thing I'm going to change is I will allow cheats. In this will allow us to run commands in-game, so in case our world breaks and needs fixing, this is what I will be using to fix it. Also know that I'm leaving the seed for the world empty, so the world generation will be random and I will not be able to know the geography of the newly created world. Let's click Done and generate the world. Here we are in the new world. So the sun is rising. It's a beautiful world. Let's climb the hill and take a look around. From this hill, we can see that we spawned near the ocean. And then I also noticed that to the northwest, we see a village. And then we also see a desert over there, kind of toward the north. So this is a pretty good spawn. And while I was waiting for the world to load, the sun has actually went high up in the sky. We have about half a day left. So let's visit this village and find a bed for us to spend the night. So I'm at the village, and the village is kind of nice. There are plenty houses around. So I suggest we just visit the nearest building we can find and take this. So this is our bed. We can use this bed to spend the night, and if we spend the night in the bed, the zombies will not spawn. I see some chickens here trying to escape because they can jump over some leaves. I think I will prevent them from doing that, because then we can grab some eggs and feathers from this chicken and establish our own chicken farm. So I will spend a little bit of time in this village. I will take a look around and I will see what we can loot here, and then I'll be back. I spent some time searching the village, and I found a bunch of items in this village. And one of the things I found is this iron pickaxe. And what I wanted to highlight is that if you see in the tooltip of the pickaxe, it says, vanilla tools don't work, use Tinker's construct tools. And I wanted to show you what this means. So inside of the church here, there is this brewing stand. So if I try to harvest it with a pickaxe, if I manage to push this villager away, if I harvest this brewing stand, you see the pickaxe lost almost all its durability. And then the other thing which I would like to harvest is this furnace over here. So if I harvest that, my pickaxe fully breaks. So vanilla tools don't work, and we will need to create Tinker's construct tools. Alright, so we are back at the ocean, and I like this place very much. I like the view, I like the fact that we are next to the village, I like the space around us. So I think this is where we will establish our initial base. So what I'll do first is that you can see that we have a couple chests which I brought from our little village excursion. And so I will just put this chest over here. And then I will pile everything, absolutely everything I've collected in this chest. We will put bed over here, so this is our place to sleep. And then I also harvested a crafting table, which we can put over here, and a furnace. Let's put it, I guess, right on top of the crafting table here. All right, so I harvested a couple items. So one of the things I found in this village is the actually a couple armor pieces. So let's put this armor pieces on, which is nice to have some protection. The other thing you can notice if you look at the bottom of my screen, I'm quite hungry, and I brought a couple eatable items, and each of them in a tooltip it says basically, not yet eaten, what does it taste like? So what this means is that if we eat this item, then you see these little white particle effects around us. Let's eat a couple more unique foods. These are the foods which we have never eaten yet. So let's eat an onion, a strawberry, and an apple. So you see, it says, what a unique flavor, you have gained a heart. So in this mod pack, when you eat a unique foods and you eat some number of these unique foods, you will get yourself an additional heart, and that is the way to increase your total health levels. So now that we are at our spot, which is a semi-permanent spot, and I think I will establish a small base over here, what I think I'll do is I'll kind of level this whole area, and once it's done, we'll be back. So I cleared it up just by hand, so that just we have more space to place things around us. And now that we are here by the ocean in our first base, let's take a look at the quest book. The quest book has several chapters in it, and just to be clear, these chapters have some progression to it. The main chapter at the bottom, which is called Bragging Rights, is what we are going to be crafting at the very end. This has a set of some very hard to craft recipes, and by crafting this, you'll be able to show that you can finish this pack, because each of the items here requires quite a lot of automation. But also, this is kind of the hardest chapter of the book, but then also there are easier chapters, introductory chapters. So the first one here is a chapter which welcomes you to the pack. So let's read this real quick. Welcome to Enigmatica 2 Expert Extended. This mod pack is designed to challenge the player through various means, especially harder recipes. I advise that you automate crafting as much as possible and as early as possible. Things are going to get complicated. Check the checkbox to get your starter kit. So let's check the checkbox. And then we have two things we can pick as our rewards. First is Enigmatica 2 Expert Book, and the second reward is a choice reward. And if we click on it, we can choose between travel kit, builder kit, and a battle kit. Because I think we'll do a little bit of traveling in the beginning of the game, and I like exploration in this pack, I will take the travel kit. If we take a look, the travel kit is actually a satchel, which if we open, it has a bunch of items related to traveling. Things like enhanced saddles, impulsion wand, which allow us, it's sort of like a hook, which allows you to travel faster, and so on. So these are the items which will allow us to study the world around us kind of faster. So the next quest in the book is quest to harvest the wood. So this quest requires us to harvest 8 of wood logs of any kind. So let's quickly do that. We have a couple trees right next to us. So let me go here and harvest a couple blocks. Once I'm done, I will be back. And the last block is collected. So now let's check our quest book again. So quest completed, and the rewards is the choice of the chest. Let's just take a jungle chest, and then triple compressed wood. So looking at our reward, we got a triple compressed wood. It might not look like much, but triple compressed wood is 9 double compressed woods, and then this is 81 single compressed wood. So overall, this gives us about 729 oak woods, and this will be enough for the beginning of our playthrough. The second reward which we have received is Enigmatica 2 Expert Extended Book. This book contains rules which are specific to Enigmatica 2 Expert Extended, and instead of reading through all of these rules, I will be explaining them as we go and play the pack. So let me just put the book back into the chest, and let's continue with our quests. The next quest on our list is very simple quest, Important Nerfs, and this is an informational quest, and it basically explains that vanilla and stone torches light levels are reduced. Use modded light sources instead. And then a second says that FTB chunk claiming doesn't prevent explosions. This means that in this pack we should be really careful about creepers and creepers spawning and exploding near our base. So we can just complete this and get some levels for this. So the next quest is the Tinker's Construct quest. So like I said before, vanilla tools don't work in this pack, and we need to craft Tinker's Construct stencil table, part builder, tool station, and crafting station. These are pretty easy to craft. For example, part builder requires just block of wood and a blank pattern, and then a stencil table would be oak wood planks and then a blank pattern. So these are pretty easy to craft. Let me craft all of them. I have finished the crafting of all of these items, and I realized that I forgot to mention that in this pack there is a slight nerf on the amount of wood which you're getting from a single oak wood log. You're just getting 2. And then the second thing is that if you place 2 oak wood planks together, you get just 2 sticks. So the amount's a little bit reduced, but that's not a big problem, not a huge problem. So now that we crafted all of the parts here, let's go to our rewards for that quest. And you see that the reward is a choice between 20 blank patterns, the book, materials and you, and a pattern chest. I will take the pattern chest, and you'll see why in a second. So since we'll do quite a lot of crafting of Tinker's Construct, let's put all this kind of close together. So I will put stencil table here, part builder over here, then goes a tool station, and then a crafting station. So if we take a look inside the pattern chest, this chest contains already pre-made all of the patterns possible in this pack. So I thank the mod author for this, because this saves me a lot of time for crafting. So now that the parts are there, we are able to craft Tinker's Construct tools. Crafting the tools in Tinker's Construct is quite easy. We go to the part builder, take the material you want to craft the tools of, and then let's say we want to craft a pickaxe head, then wooden binding and a wooden tool rod. Then we move over to the tool station, we click on a pickaxe, and we assemble the pickaxe from the parts. Quite easy. By crafting the pickaxe, we have completed the next quest, which is an excavation quest, and this was a quest to craft a pickaxe. As a reward, we get 2 excavation modifiers. This pack contains 4 excavation mod. This mod allows you to harvest all of the blocks connected to the blocks you are currently mining to speed up the mining. However, in this pack, in order to use this mod and to do so and collect the blocks faster, you have to have yourself several excavation modifiers attached to the Tinker's Construct tools. The way you attach the modifier to the tool is this. You go to the tool station, you put your tool, and then you put the excavation modifier on that tool. Now that the tool has an excavation modifier on it, you can harvest one block, and as you can see, it harvested many of the blocks around it. The size of the hole you dig depends on the number of modifiers you have attached. Now our tool is broken. In order to fix the tool, again, we go back to the tool station, we put the tool, and then we put some wood along with the tool, and we can fix it. So we have fixed our tool, and we collected about 13 flint from the flint pile over here. Let's take a look at our quests again. You can see here there is a long line of the quests related to the harvest level. In this pack, you cannot mine all the materials from the beginning. You have to craft Tinker's Construct tools of a certain harvest level to be able to mine the materials. And it works like this. You craft a tool of a specific harvest level. You are able to harvest the materials necessary to craft a better tool to bring your tool to the next harvest levels. And it goes on and on and on. So the first harvest level is level 0, and it requires flint, which we just found. Let's collect a reward, and again, this is a choice reward. I will pick a cactus sword blade. So now that we have a bunch of flint, we can go tool crafting, and we can craft several tools necessary to progress us in this pack. So I crafted several useful tools. First of all, I upgraded our pickaxe to flint. So now it has a mining level of flint. It's slightly more sturdier than a wood. Then I also crafted a flint mattock. So this is pretty useful tool. For example, it can be used to till the dirt. Then it can be used to mine dirt and gravel and sand very efficiently. And then at the same time, it works as an axe, and it collects the wood really fast. Then the second useful tool I crafted is a flint kammer, and this tool allows us to harvest things like leaves and grass, which also will be pretty useful. I crafted us a cactus broadsword using the cactus which we had as a reward for the quest, and then I crafted a flint sledgehammer. So this tool allows to do things like convert cobblestone to gravel, gravel to sand, and sand to dust, and I will explain what we can do with these things later. So now we have a set of useful tools. One thing which is good to mention about Tinker's Construct tools, and that they have various traits. For example, if we put tool in a tool station, we can take a look here what are the traits of this specific flint mattock. And one of the traits is ecological. Renewable resources are so good, they regenerate by themselves. So everything that contains a piece of wood in it will actually recover some of the durability. Like you see in a kammer or in a mattock, the durability recovers. For example, our flint sledgehammer already fully recovered. And the second trait is crude trait, which comes from the flint, and it says bonus damage against unarmored targets. So anything we hit with a flint will have a bonus damage on the target. The next quest that we have is a quest for the clay bucket. And clay bucket is pretty straightforward. This is unfired clay bucket we need to collect, and it is made out of the clay. And because we started near the water, it's quite easy to find the clay. For example, here we have a clay patch, and using a mattock, I can collect clay, but as you can see, I collected just one piece. There is a slight trick to this pack. So if you put your flint mattock in your offhand, and then you will use a tool with an excavate modifier in your main hand, then you can collect a bunch of clay at the same time. So let's craft the unfired clay bucket and collect our reward, which in this case is again a choice reward. We can get some framed chests and a hand drill from Bibliocraft. So the next order of business is to craft a Tinker's Construct Smeltery. Smeltery is the multi-block structure which allows us to smelt ores into molten metals, which we can then pour into different shapes to create even better Tinker's Construct tools. And in order to craft Smeltery, we need to craft the sear bricks. And sear bricks we can craft from firing this grout. And the grout can be crafted from clay, sand, and gravel. And all of these things are in great abundance around us. So let me start collecting. After about 10 minutes of mining, we have a bunch of components collected. And we are making seared brick in a furnace from grout. So we are ready to craft the components of the smeltery. We have all of the components ready. In order to craft them, I had to build several more furnaces. And let me show you the recipe of the furnace in this mod pack is slightly harder. You need a piece of charcoal, which you can make by simply burning wood, and then a couple stone gears, which is not very hard, given that it's just a couple pieces of stone and a wooden gear, which is made just from 4 pieces of wood. So I have all of the components on me, and I am ready to craft our first smeltery. However, first, let's collect our reward for collecting all of the components. And in this case, rewards is a bunch of cabinets. So let's grab this giant sequoia wood cabinet. And let me figure out a space for building a smeltery. Our beautiful smeltery is ready. And this is, like I said, a multi-block structure. Right now it's quite small. It has only 4 spaces in it. And these spaces, these 4 spaces are basically here inside the smeltery. So in order to make the smeltery work though, we will need a fuel, and lava can do as a fuel. The next quest on our list is harvest level 1, which requires 2 copper ore. And I just happened to swim around and I saw that we can collect a couple ore just here, very close to our base. So let's make it get up there and harvest these 2 copper blocks. Let's complete the quests, and the reward for that is actually a bunch of groots, so we can expand our smeltery, and a pipette. The pipette from Forestry allows us to draw pretty small numbers of liquids, like the numbers of liquids which are below 1 bucket. So the second order of business now is to find us some lava in order to power the smeltery which we just built. And not sure if you remember, but while we were standing on a hill and looking at the distance, we saw some lava pouring over there. So we don't even have to dig to find our first bucket of lava. So let me run over there and grab it real quick. So I am at this lava source. Let's collect the lava with our fired clay bucket. Unfortunately, there was only 1 lava source block, but that's fine. We'll find more underground. And actually, it's interesting. From here, we can see this large structure in the desert, which I have never seen before. So later we'll just have to visit this and take a look what it is. But for now, let me jump into the water and swim back home. We are back at the base with a bucket of lava in our hand. Let's put it into a smeltery, and then let's put the 2 of the copper ore which we've got and smelt it as well. And then after smelting this copper ore, we are going to need to pour these 2 molten copper ingots into the cast. However, we don't have casting at this point because we don't have materials to make the cast. So we'll have to just make a brittle clay cast, which is a one-time use cast. To do that, let's put some clay in a smeltery and melt it. Then we'll move the clay to the bottom of the order. We'll put a stone pickaxe head, which we made out of stone, inside of the part crafter. We'll put it over here and we'll pour the molten clay over it. Now that the clay is solidified, we can pour the copper into it. And as it solidifies, we got ourselves a copper pickaxe head. Then we'll go to the tool station and we'll replace the head on our flint pickaxe with a copper. So now the mining level of this pickaxe is copper. And so this means that we will be able to mine iron next. In order to mine iron, we will have to get underground. And it's dark underground. We know from our important Nerf's quest that vanilla and stone torches produce very low light levels. So we will need to make something modded, something better. And one of the things I found works really nice for me is this white candles from Quark. White candles are made from beeswax, and beeswax is basically a honeycomb smelted in a furnace. The honeycombs you can find from the beehives by Rustic. So we will have to travel around and find one of these beehives. Here is one beehive growing on this fig tree. So let's collect a couple of... Oh, they are not ready yet. Okay, anyway. Let's harvest the beehive, and that gives us a single bee, but this is fine. So now let's get back home. Bees from Rustic are pretty easy to work with. All we need to do is craft a couple apiaries. Let's maybe craft 4. And what you do is you put the apiary down, and then you put the bee in. And then over time, the number of bees inside the apiary will grow, and they will also produce honeycombs over there at the bottom. And this is all we need in order to grow bees. We are back at the village, and I wanted to discuss the other component of the candle, which is a string. And in order to get lots of string, one of the ways we can go about this is to grow industrial hemp and then convert it to the string. However, not that I'm impatient, but in order to speed up the growth, we can use this. So in the village, last time I was here, I noticed that there are a couple of these large bones around. This single bone block can be converted into the 9-bone meal, which will speed up the growth of our hemp and provide us with the adequate number of string to make candles and to do some mining. So let me collect a couple blocks here. So we are back home, and I have set up a little area for myself for growing hemp. So we will tile this area here, and then we'll plant it. We'll use bone meal and harvest. And all we need to do at this point is basically rinse and repeat. So just plant, bone meal, and harvest. So at this point, this is the fastest way of growing hemp. And then 3 hemp gives you 1 string. So we'll have plenty of string for our candles using this method. And just like that, we have crafted ourselves pretty much 2.5 stacks of candles. So this many candles will be enough for us to dig underground for metals. With these candles in hand, I went into this cave system, which we discovered when we were looking for a copper. And I placed a couple candles to provide myself some light, and I was able to travel into this cave and harvest a little bit of ore. So I've done some harvesting. You can see that I now have 7 copper ore and about 14 aluminum ore. So I had a pretty good harvest. With the copper and aluminum at hand, we can do a pretty cool thing. If we melt 1 copper and 3 aluminum together, we can get a molten aluminum brass. Next, we can pour this aluminum brass over, let's say, a brick, and we got ourselves an ingot cast. So in a similar fashion, we can craft ourselves a couple other casts, and each of these casts is reusable and can use molten metal to produce ingots and various other tools from Tinker's construct using the smeltery. So the next harvest level we are after is harvest level 2. That requires some Certus quartz crystal. And in order to get the crystal, we need to break the ore. I have built myself a mining pit over here. And down there in the pit you can find some Certus quartz ore, which has a copper mining level. How did I know how deep I should dig for this ore? Well, if you look at the JEI for the Certus quartz ore, then here in the World Gen pane, on the page 5, in the overworld, the Certus quartz ore generates, roughly speaking, between levels 30 and levels 51. So this is the main way you can figure out where to get different items, just by looking them up in the GI and in the World Gen tab. So let's mine it using the pickaxe. And there are a couple more around it. And let's block this so creatures cannot come inside. And that is 6. Therefore, we can complete the quest and get a reward. And we can choose between magical wooden shortbow, bronze sledgehammer, and a torch. I'll pick up a bronze sledgehammer. After we have upgraded our pickaxe to the Certus level, we can go back here and mine some iron. And now that we have 6 iron ore, let's get back to the base. Back at the base, we will smelt the ore into iron ingots. And then once we grab the iron ingot, we can also make ourselves a pickaxe head. The ingot in our inventory, along with the iron ore, completes the quest for the iron, harvest level 3, and the reward here is either the lava clay bucket or magmatic floor with the lava or a sound pattern. I guess I will just grab a lava bucket. Let's grab a pickaxe head and install it on our Certus quartz pickaxe. Here we go. Harvest level iron. I feel that we have established a nice little place by the ocean and have an outpost to explore. If you like what you have seen so far, please stick around for more episodes in the future. I'm so glad to be back playing this pack, and it will get much more complex and interesting as we delve deeper. For now, I want to thank you all for watching, and I would love to see you all next time. Same place.